Ready, set, go!
Yeah, whole team on a loose. Kick it up like Kung Fu. Untamed, yeah, cool. Running plays like who knew. Hella fast when I slide through. You would've thought we was in a zoo. Engine roar like a lion do. Yeah, devil, I'm a damn fool. Switching lanes, hanging out the roof. Tires screech when I bend the corner. All you see is a big poof. Then I'm leaving my initials. Street marks, I'm official. Taking off like a missile. You can hear the wind whistle.
Yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Hey, yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Ready, set, go! 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 Ready, set, go! 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 Get ready, set, go!
Get into it like pronto, get hit with a combo. Do it large, real jumbo, so dirty like gumbo. Big money in a two-seater, hair blowing, you see her. I got her, you need her, never would I wanna be her. And I've been grinding all of my life. Now look at my sights, mile high, I'm fly. Ride till I die. Look how I arrive, like the president inside. See the look in their eyes.
I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Ready, set, go!
Ready, set,
Go!
let's go.
Go!
On your mark,
Go! Ready, set, go!
ready, set,
Go!
on your mark,
Go!
let's go.
Go! Get ready, set, go!
Yeah, and you know I like big coupes. Two-seater with the missing roof. Run the meter to a can't move. I'm the best, got them all mute. Break the bank, talking big loot. Business talk, making big moves. Full tank, no I can't lose. Left them in the dust confused. All I ever did was break rules. Full throttle, I don't like cruise. Guess I got a couple screws loose. Son devil, I'm a damn fool. Ain't no telling what I might do. Taking off like a missile. Street marks, I'm official.
Yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Hey, yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Ready, set, go!
Ready, set,
Go!
let's go.
Go!
On your mark,
Go! Ready, set, go!
ready, set,
Go!
on your mark,
Go!
let's go.
Go! Ready, set, go! 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 Ready, set, go! 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 Get ready, set, go! Go! Get ready, set, go!
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Cardin Ellis. And today I'm joined in the studio by none other than Joseph Gangbot. You guys might recognize him from previous videos with No Unhallowed Hand. Now he is here, just hanging out with us today, as well as, I am flanked. I'm trying to use military terms, guys, because I just think it's cooler now. I'm flanked by none other than, I have to do the group view here. I had you on the individual view. I'm flanked by none other than Hayden Holm here from Salty Saints, as well as Hayden.
That's
introduce
right.
us to your two new friends, my man.
For sure, yeah, and they're not new to me, but they may be new to you. So this is Sam St. Laurent. He has a YouTube channel at Through the Mist, so be sure to check that out and subscribe. And then we have my very own Ward member right over here, Mosiah Martinez. He's huge on Instagram. You may know him as King Mosiah. I know him as Brother Martinez, but you may know him as King Mosiah.
All right, cool, sweet. And today we've got a pretty full docket, okay? We are going to be reacting to this little bit of viral media that went out, kind of questioning some of the dating scene now amongst young men in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So should we just jump right in and just roll tape right off the bat and just let her say her piece? And then react to it?
Yeah.
You want to just do that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's be the fat kid at the lake at the camp, and just like cannonball right into this thing.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so here we go. This comes from an account called, well, first off, how did you find this? This got sent to me by 2 or 3 people. How did you come across this?
Yeah, it floated through my feed. So basically my feed is a big mess at this point. It's mostly like ex-member, anti-member stuff. And because I am a pale dad bod version of the Lorax, because I speak for the men of the church a lot of times. I speak for elders quorums. So I get a lot of kind of more feminist, single sister kind of stuff that floats through my feed.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Here. Well, let's see what she has to say, and let's see how it holds muster. All right. Now, first off, we're not here to flame anyone. What is this? Felicia Liackley or Felicia Lee. There we are. Okay. So Felicia Lee, first off, good on you for just expressing your thoughts on the internet. You have given us a gift of something now that we can react to and make our own content with. So I remember going about 10 seconds into this and then thinking, oh, I got to stop so we can react on the show. You know what I'm saying? I got to stop we can react on the show. So we're going to start this from the very beginning, see what she's got to say.
LDS man, I need you to stop scrolling for a minute because I genuinely do not understand what's going on here.
Okay. Calling all single LDS men, you need to stop for a minute, and I don't get what's going on here. Okay, we're just going to let it go, then we're going to react. So here we go, Felicia Lee.
There are so many incredible single women in the church, like kind, faithful, emotionally intelligent, educated, independent, funny, successful, and somehow still single. Meanwhile, LDS men will be like, I just want a good girl who loves the gospel, and she's
Okay, pausing for copyright.
literally right in front of you, and you're terrified. Why? Why does commitment feel like a threat instead of a goal?
Okay, actually, okay, so hold on a second. Actually, no, let's let her finish.
And
I'm
why
going to let
does
her
it
finish.
seem like the moment a woman is educated, has her own money, her own opinions, her own life, her own house, it's suddenly intimidating? Because independence doesn't mean we don't want a partnership.
Pause for copyright.
It means we're choosing you, not needing you. And I feel like some LDS men are raised with this idea that they need to be the provider, the leader, the fixer, and if a woman already has her life together, it makes them feel unnecessary. But here's the thing. No one is asking you to be our dad. We want a teammate, a partner, a best friend, someone to grow with. Crazy. Also, can we talk about the fear of commitment? Like, you'll date someone for months, do coupley things, meet friends, family members, talk about the future, and then the second things get real, it's like, gone. I'm just not ready. Ready for what? Because marriage has always been the goal here. And it just feels like a lot of amazing women are being passed over because some men are scared of not being needed instead of excited about being chosen. So if you're an emotionally intelligent man who's LDS,
Okay.
between the ages of like 25 to 35, congrats, you're a unicorn, and where are you at? If you're a single...
Okay. I can see why that ruffled some feathers. I think there was
Is
a lot
that
of...
right?
I think there was some truth there, but I also, actually, my opinion doesn't matter though. What's your opinion, my man? Tell me, what's your opinion?
Yeah, so I mean, I watched that and I started scratching my head thinking like, she's single? A gal like this is single? Wow. Go figure, huh? Wow. It made me do an Owen Wilson wow. Like, wow. Oh, wow.
Okay, now are you saying that
Okay.
sarcastically? Because you're like, it
I'm
doesn't...
going to let
sound-
the audience discern that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave that for
no.
the interpretation of the audience there.
Oh, no, she's lovely. She's lovely. Okay, why? Why are you saying this?
Well, she is fantastic. I'm not saying she's not fantastic. I'm just saying that the tone of the whole video was kind of like the mom that's screaming at all her kids at Disneyland, like, hey, shut up and be happy. We're having a great time. What's the matter with you? You know, and smile for the pictures. What's the matter? You know, so, I mean, that's the tone that I got from a video like this. And I'm just like, whew, I think there are some tips. So that's why I asked some of these guys. I'm like, you guys have successfully dated in the church. You're married. That's great. You've been married for a while. So clearly there are some tips that I think we could probably give her in a very constructive and helpful way that will maybe potentially, if applied correctly, could help her to find the man that she's looking for.
Okay, I like that approach so much better because first off, I'm with you. There were some things there where I was just like, my spidey senses are going off. But
when did they go off?
Well, actually, we'll go through. I'll tell you my opinions.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm
Yeah.
unashamed. I'm unashamed of my opinions, and
Sure.
But I don't just want to dunk on a girl that is earnestly trying to find a partner in life, because I think that's one of the most noble things that you can do, and it's one of our most sincerest desires. And trying to find it can be very frustrating. I actually got married very late in life. I remember feeling a lot of despair over whether or not I literally thought I was just going to go and be a rich rich producer at NBC and then just marry some hot foreign like model gold digger chick. Like I just gotten to the point where I was like, I'm not going to find some nice sweet member and have a good family. So I'll just, it can be very frustrating, and your frustration can lead you to just do what frustrated people do. And so if this girl is sincerely trying to better her life and frustrated with dating, because also sometimes guys can be total losers. Let's face it. Sometimes they can be losers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, I empathize with her, but there's other things where it's like, okay, maybe helping you isn't turning and chastising men, but maybe hoping to help you see the battlefield a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that now
giving you maybe perhaps a different perspective through which you can see this problem through some new eyes that may help you correct that vision, because I do think that she's misperceiving some things.
Yes. So I don't want to flame this girl. I seriously, my heart reaches out to her, and I think it's great that she gave us her authentic self and her authentic take. However, there were some caveats in there, and there were some asterisks that she put on things that really, really, I think, exposed an underlying problem that many women have with dating now that leads them to places like this. So maybe if we can address those in this video,
100%.
you know, it'll get better for her. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So start out. You go yours first. You do yours first, man.
Okay. Well, let's, I would be interested to hear everybody's first take. Like Sam, what stood out to you on that?
So I actually, upon watching this, the immediate red flag for me was when she said emotional, or EQ. She said emotional intelligence. I was like, my spidey senses or red flags were just shooting up. Like listening to that and
Why?
then the laundry list of things. Because oftentimes what I've noticed is when women appeal to terms like that, like when they're thinking in that structure, there's a reason behind it. So if I'm talking about emotional intelligence, it's likely because, I don't know, perhaps I might have like a degree in psychology, or perhaps I've taken a psychology class, or perhaps I'm even a licensed trauma coach.
Oh no! Don't tell me she's not one of those. No, she's too sweet to be one of those.
Not like Hayden Holmes. Not like Hayden Holmes.
No. She's too
There's
sweet
a certain
to
level
be.
of prestige with my certification. All right.
No, hold on. Okay, so she hashtag. Oh, this is probably why I ended up seeing this. My friends ended up seeing this because she said, "Prove me wrong, please." LDS, Mormon, Utah, Idaho, BYU. Okay, so she's obviously what, a BYU student, probably, I would assume, right?
Either BYU or BYU Idaho.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's start from the beginning, and then just tell me when to stop when we have something to react to, so we can be specific, because I want to root this conversation in specifics. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
So here we go. We're going to start from the beginning. I'm going to refresh it from the very beginning. Here we go. Calling all LDS single men.
LDS man, I need you to stop scrolling for a minute because I genuinely do not understand what's going on here.
Okay, great. So she doesn't condemn right at the beginning and appeals to confusion and says, I want to understand. So I think that's great. She's off to a good start.
There are so many incredible single women in the church, like kind, faithful, emotionally intelligent, educated, independent, funny, successful, and somehow still single.
Okay.
Okay, pause real quick. Pause. Hey.
Okay, yeah.
Did you hear what she left out of that list? I think there's something very important to men that she left out of that list.
What, attractive?
Attractive, like physically attractive, like in the lines of like Michael Scott, would she fit in a rowboat? You know, like when Phyllis was trying to set him up with a friend, like she's got such a great personality and she's kind and she's amazing. And he's like, Phyllis, would she fit in a rowboat? And she just kept getting squirrely around that question. And then he was just like, and then he found out that no, she did not. She could not fit in a rowboat. And so that.
So are you saying that it's a problem with LDS dating because so many women don't fit don't fit in rowboats?
No. I'm just saying this is perspective here. I'm saying that men are visual creatures, right? That physical attraction is definitely a higher priority for men than it is for women. And so if we, in the spirit of giving her perspective, I would say, hey, maybe start adding that to that list of priorities there, because it's like physical attraction is definitely higher on the list for men than women.
Well, it is true. It's like whenever women try and pitch their friends to you, like, I don't know if you remember being single. Like, sometimes I would be aghast. People are like, I have this friend. Well, okay, so first off, I think it's fine that she left out, cute, because you can never trust LDS women when they say another LDS woman is cute or attractive, because all of us have been on the blind date with, I have this friend. She's so nice. She's so sweet. She's so great. She's stunning. Right. And you show up and it's like, and then she's like, and I thought of you when I was talking to her last. It's like, you thought of me.
Right.
This chick didn't comb her hair before she rolled out of bed.
You almost take it as an insult. You're like, oh, I didn't
what?
know you thought so low of me. Oh, darn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
It's like taking advice from like a white guy when he says this is spicy. It's like, well, I don't know. If you know what spice is, we're going to have to judge that for ourselves. Totally agree with you on that.
Okay.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So during her video, she's presenting singleness as an issue. Singleness doesn't equal rejection. We're not when a man is single, doesn't equal that we are rejecting women all the time when we are on dating, or that we are intimidated, or that we're not stepping up. I think her claim is actually valid, but it goes both ways. Men and women, I think, in the church sometimes in a certain age, in a certain period of time, because of our culture, the way we see marriage in our LDS culture is oftentimes more something sacred, something like a big milestone to achieve. So we take culturally, I'm assuming, I think culturally we see that milestone as something that it's not that we fear, but we are actually more thoughtful and a little bit more kind of careful, sometimes a little bit afraid as well, I would say. But I would say more thoughtful because of the commitment that it requires. So I don't see that in being single equals that men are being emotionally unavailable. It could be, but there's also other things like life timing, maybe compatibility. Sometimes people are not compatible. And so sometimes attraction, just like Hayden said, maybe readiness and emotional health, or like finances. And so there's a lot, it's a deeper subject when it comes to dating. And a lot of the times in social media, you see that they're trying to box it into like, oh, men are the problem because you guys are not taking all these women that are available. And it's a little bit more complex dating.
It's kind of like what David O. McKay said. I think he was speaking to a bunch of men. He said, you should be dating with your eyes wide open, and then you get married, you keep your eyes half closed, right? Like that was his advice. And so, yes, I think men do date, I think a lot of times with their eyes wide open. Like, ooh, could I live with this for the rest of my life?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, now we're going to shift gears out of the comedic male versus female humorous response into now I'm going to be devil's advocate on her behalf.
Who was being comedic here?
Okay, you.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Wow, look at that.
You were being comedic. So
here I was thinking I was a hard-hitting journalist over here.
Yeah, well, the hard facts. you brought the goggles. You brought the goggles.
Spectacles.
Bro, you brought the spectacles, and you did a great job. So
they helped me focus.
In her defense, and I actually want to reassure her, because obviously whether it's on her friend's behalf or a frustration on her behalf, I think there probably are a lot of very successful women out there right now that are kind of wondering, like, why can't I get a break? Now, first off, welcome to life. A lot of your frustration I don't think is new. And as the Apostle Paul said, there's nothing new under the sun. So just welcome to life. It sucks to be single in many regards. There's things about it that you will very much miss, and a freedom that you have now that you won't recognize until it is gone. So do enjoy. Don't enjoy it too much that it inhibits your progress. But, welcome to life. A lot of this is just natural consequences. So we can all take a little bit of humble pie and a little bit of a chill pill, and it's probably for the better. Second off, the stats are not in favor of women right now. They're over 50%.
What do you mean by that?
right now women are dominating academia. They're dominating corporate America. Like the New York Times was a female-dominated employer, I think, as far back as like 2021. Right now, it's like 60% of some universities and definitely of grad students are female-dominated. So like the HRification of corporate America has been to the benefit of women, not necessarily men. And men have never
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, men have never had a tougher economic time. The average age of first-year home purchase has skyrocketed to 42 years old, when like only 20 years ago it was like 27. And correct me if I'm wrong, Hayden, you deal with men all day long in Dads Need Friends, in Salty Saints.
Totally.
You deal with men all day long, and there's something that subconsciously happens in a man's brain where he doesn't really view himself as able to get married until he's producing enough of a surplus economically that he thinks he can take on a wife and a child. And
100%. Yeah. Like it's definitely a fear for a lot of men. Like it was one of the biggest fears for me was finances. When I was approaching my wife and I was thinking about getting married, I was running the numbers. We were living in Rexburg, Idaho. My mom had signed us into an apartment that cost $600 a month. And I thought that was crazy back then. I was just like, wow. And because I was making $300 a month on my on-campus job. And my wife was making $300 a month on her on-campus job. And so I was like, Chanel, I'm looking at the numbers here. These numbers aren't adding up. I don't think this is going to work. We should probably pump the brakes on this and maybe give it a year or two. And, she, bless her heart, she was just like, you know what, Hayden, it's going to happen. Like if we get married, things will work out. And I was just like, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't make it that any less terrifying. Like it was so terrifying. Like it gave me serious cold feet. But I trusted her. I was like, all right. As long as you know what you're signing up for, then we're in this together.
So you validated my premise that oftentimes men are a little bit reluctant to engage in a relationship when they don't feel that they can actually care for that relationship. The term husband actually comes from the concept of good husbandry, if you can take care of something. And men who want to be able to take care of something oftentimes don't want to engage in the responsibility for that something until they feel they are in economic position to engage in responsibility for that something. And men have never done worse economically, been stretched thinner and pushed harder economically than they have been recently. Meanwhile, women are thriving. Right. And so there's a disparity.
Well, it's not only that, but it's like they're also having to compete with more women in the workplace. And so it's like, so you have more people entering the workplace, and then you have DEI programs established in these workplaces that are probably going to favor more women than your average member of the church man in Utah, who's probably whiter than Wonder Bread. It's like, right. Hey, so he's going to get into a workforce surrounded by, these women that are graduating, and God bless him for, pursuing higher education, listening to the prophet and doing that. But you have to understand it's going to be tough.
Yeah. And also, she starts out by saying, I've never seen so many women who are kind and amazing and beautiful. And she lists off all of these great traits that all of these women are. And my only real reaction to that is like, let's also slow our roll and let's put a microphone behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they're nice to you.
Whose closed doors are we putting a microphone behind?
Well, just like what they say about men when nobody's listening. Like I've seen.
Oh, I see.
My wife's a Relief Society president, and I've had more than one or two conversations in our living room where they decide to get a little bit saucy. You know what I'm saying? On the guys. And it's like, okay, they might be great to you, but trust me, the way they behave around guys might be a little bit different. So like, let's hold on. Now let's let her continue though. And let's hear her out. So she continues.
Meanwhile, LDS men will be like, I just want a good girl who loves the gospel. And she's literally right in front of you, and you're terrified.
Okay, this is where I started to bristle. When you start thinking that I deal with this with anti-Mormons all the time, and I'm not saying she's just like the toxic anti-Mormons or anything. This is a very light comparison. But all the time, anti-Mormons will say, like, I just did an episode on this today. Like, dude, they stopped talking with me and coming by a house because they just couldn't handle the heat of my knowledge. Like, you know,
Right.
my biblical acumen was just so based, and like their doctrine is just so weak that they had to stop visiting me because they just couldn't handle it. They were terrified. Meanwhile, you go and you look up their address in the area book, and it's like insufferable evangelical recycling, you know, nothing but
Right.
bad tropes that have been debunked a million times, and who utterly refused to look up the verses we gave him. So a waste of time. We're moving on.
Meanwhile, they're getting kicked out of a Chuck E. Cheese for chewing out the manager over something. You're like, yeah.
So
It's totally not you. You're not the problem.
this is when we start getting into what the psychological community would call victim blaming. And it's like, just trust me, if a woman is truly feminine and truly beautiful and truly kind and intelligent, men will chew off their own leg to date her. True or not true?
Absolutely
100% true. 100% true.
Okay.
Mosiah looks like he wants to say something.
Say something, Mosiah.
No, I just go back to my point before that singleness doesn't equal an emotional stability. Singleness doesn't mean, you know, all these things that we could assume. A lot of us, you know, I can put myself in her shoes. I can see that could be a struggle. There's a lot of women in the church that do not find an eternal partner, as we call it, and that's a real problem. But at the end of the day, it's just not. It's not a proof. It's not proof. Like, we cannot say that, oh, because you are not going on dates, then you guys, single men, are the problem. And I cannot say that to women as well. I think it's a little bit more complex. We have to look at compatibility. We have to look at goal, like how they are personally, and on social, and just talk like that for like some clicks and views. I mean, not gonna lie, that's gonna give her some views and clicks, but it's a little bit more complex. So I would like to kind of address the complexities of just, you're dealing with different humans, and sometimes we don't sell ourselves really well, like how we present ourselves in a dating basis, and how sometimes we are a turnoff, right? I went on dates fully intentional to go and crush it and close the deal, and then I just wasn't an idiot, and you know, I didn't do it right, and I wasn't ready mentally. Sometimes I wasn't compatible to that person. And then I could go and blame that person and say like, oh, I'm a really good, faithful Latter-day Saint man, and you rejected me. But it wasn't like that. I cannot take on the blaming mentality, because sometimes it's a little bit more complex. Maybe I wasn't ready mentally. Maybe I just, during the date, I just screw it. Maybe I just not emotionally aware. And somebody said emotional intelligence. It has to do with how you communicate as well. And so how I present myself on that date. And so I was rejected sometimes not because I wasn't ready. I was fully ready to commit, to find out. But sometimes I was rejected because I came too strong. Maybe I didn't have those social cues. Maybe I didn't have, like, you know, that perspective. And so it was turned off. Now, do I blame that girl for rejecting me? Not necessarily. I think it's a little bit more complex. So that's what I was talking on my initial point. So it's a little bit more complex.
If you're a single LDS,
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to this really fast, and then we're going to respond to the last half of what she had to say.
man, I need you to stop scrolling for a minute, because I genuinely do not understand what's going on here. There are so many incredible single women in the church, like kind, faithful, emotionally intelligent, educated, independent, funny, successful, and somehow still single. Meanwhile, LDS men will be like, I just want a good girl who loves the gospel, and she's literally right in front of you, and you're terrified.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to point out is some of these comments are savage, dude. Jay McMoyle says, this is a hot take from the guy's view. All women are looking for Spider-Man when Peter Parker is right in front of them.
That was such a good comment. I will say, the comment section in her video is absolutely fire. Like, from both sides, from the females too. Like, oh, I have 3 sons, and like they've all tried dating women, and like they keep.
Well, read it. It's like the next one down. Read it. Read what it says.
Yeah, let's
bro.
get it.
Yeah.
Let me. Oh, man.
Well, while you're getting there, I will say, she made the claim that Mormon men are terrified of these strong, independent, empowered women. And if there's anything I learned from the 2016 election, is that she's absolutely right. that men, they view that like these big boss babe kind of women, and they're like, oh, I don't know that that is the kind of woman that I want to be married to for eternity. She mentioned that Mormon men are scared that they won't be needed by this woman. And it's like, I don't think men are alone on their need to be needed. I think both men and women need to feel like they're needed in a healthy, happy relationship. So I don't think I would push back on that. Gently push back, a gentle push.
Okay, so do you guys know Whitney Cummings, the comedian Whitney Cummings? She had an amazing YouTube short that actually gave me a lot of hope. What this Mormon girl said in this video, when she listed what she thinks are, she made a pitch for Mormon women. That's what she did. And she basically said, like, I see all, by the way, Joseph, tell me if I'm missing something. You want to jump in, bro? He's doing a little bit of a dissertation. He's very academic and erudite person, you know. But she lists all of these qualities as the selling point of presumably all of her and her friends and Mormon women, right? But she doesn't necessarily. She pitches the thing that feminists have brainwashed her into believing are the most admirable traits in a partner for the past 50 years. She didn't pitch the phrases or the things that are all the things guys universally agree that they want. And
okay,
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And women, part of the reason why dating has been so stressed for the past, I would say, 2 or 3 decades, is because women are cultivating aspects of their personality that men don't care for. Meanwhile, the aspects they care most for are being neglected. And that disparate, they're talking past each other when in reality they should be meeting in the middle like yin and yang, right? But I have hope. Yeah. I have hope that girls are getting over it. And one of the things that gives me hope is actually Whitney Cummings, who's a beautiful... she used to be a model before she became a comedian. And in a recent podcast, she actually confessed something very anti-feminist that she had to get over. I'm going to play it right now so you guys can hear it. But this gave me a lot of hope, and I'm wondering if it doesn't apply to this situation. So here it is. It's a YouTube short. It's called "What is Wrong with Modern Women" it's on a Modern Wisdom podcast. So here we go.
Professional athlete.
So she says, I dated a professional athlete. Then the story starts.
I dated a professional athlete, great at what he does. There's not a lot of room for emotion to be involved. It's either true or it's not true, or you're going to get your neck broken. He could date whoever he wanted or sleep with whoever he wanted. And we were like arguing about something, and I was like, well, why would you date me? If like I'm the person you date if you want like a challenge. And he just went, why would any man want a challenge in their relationship? In that moment was like, oh my God, I thought it was like hot to you. I thought it was like what guys wanted. I thought it was like feisty. Like, I apologize.
Well,
okay.
Especially if you're dating somebody that is high performing in any realm, has goals. If you're working that hard in the office, do you really want to come home and be like, right, there's that to-do list done. I wonder what fires I need to fight when I step through the front door as well.
Okay. Any guy that's good enough to really be that man that women want. Like, it's difficult being a man that provides for his family, also holds his calling, also lives a good, chaste and virtuous life. Like, that's not easy. You are a high performing individual. I think even if you're just basic bro Mormon, because as many of our detractors would say, it's a high demand religion, right? So,
right.
So I would argue that, you know, I think high demand is a little bit hyperbolic, but to a certain extent, being a good man is difficult emotional and physical work. And so when you come home from that into your dating life, you don't want an angry boss bee dumping on you. You know, you don't want all the things that she just pitched her friends as being, yet all the girls are trying to be those boss bee things. And it's just making it so you're the term undateable is thrown around too much, but it impairs your dateability, not augments it.
Oh, for sure. Like, you remember that primary song, like, I'm so glad when daddy comes home, glad as I can be.
Yeah.
It doesn't end with give him a big to-do list and challenge everything about his identity. You know, it's like, Judas Priest, give the guy a break. You know, men do not want to compete. It's just not on the cards. Like, they don't want to enter a boxing match when they go home through the day. They don't want to take a couple breaths after their 9 to 5 in the car, just like, okay, all right, here we go. All right, let's go through the door, you know, all right, ding, ding. And it's just like entering the octagon, and they're like, you know, what's going to happen today? No, they want a wife that's going, she was talking about this in her reel, like, partner, equal. It's like, yeah, they want someone that's going to help them shoulder the difficulties of life. You know, and do it in a respectful and kind way.
Are you
not
guys
necessarily a terrified way. You know, like, oh, I'm scared of your success. It's like, I'm not scared of success as much as I think most single men, I think they are looking for someone who is focused on family and focused on maybe how they can help this man achieve the family goals that he wants, you know.
Have you ever seen the comedic group called Content Machine? They're based out of Los Angeles.
I think I've seen a few of their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They have this hilarious short of dating a European versus dating an American. I'm going to play it right now really fast so the audience can see the difference, because I think it's germane to the conversation. So I'll choose the Facebook one because that one you can fast forward or play straight. But yeah, this is from Content Machine. Here we go.
Work was so tough today.
Oh, just sit down and relax. Tell me everything about it. My big, strong man. I'm making you food and we can have all night long shaboing.
Work was so tough today.
You think you had a bad day? You think you had a bad day? I've had raging anxiety all day today, and I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten anything yet today, and I'm on my period.
Work.
Okay. So they juxtapose the difference between dating, for those of you that couldn't see it on Zoom, they juxtapose the difference between dating a European woman when you come home that wants to like make you food and say how great you are and comfort you because you've had a difficult day. And they say what it's like dating an American. And when she comes home, she just starts trauma dumping on you, saying, you thought you had a bad day? And
right.
This is obviously comedic hyperbole that is exaggerative in its nature, but there's always truth in joking. And American society, under the auspices of feminism, has become a lot more like that second American blonde and a lot less like that beautiful feminine European. And I think that's causing a lot of the anxiety that we saw in this original woman's Instagram post. Is that fair?
I think that is fair. You know, the problem is, like, she came out swinging in this Instagram reel. Like, it was authentic, but she did throw a few jabs in there. And it's like, I don't think men are looking for someone that's going to be that aggressive, that's going to kind of start off a relationship with like you're not doing enough. You know, like, I don't think men are looking for that. And even for me personally, I was at BYU, Idaho, right? The land of potatoes, spuds, as we call them. And, there was one day that there was a potato bar that was being held on campus. And they were like, hey, all students that want to come participate in this like big university-wide photo, come here and you'll get a free potato in our potato bar. And I'm like, hey, I love baked potatoes. They had chili, they had the whole shebang. And so I go there, I take the picture, I'm getting my potato because I'm a starving college student, and I'm eating this potato. And I see this faculty member come over and start talking to me. And she's just like, so how are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And she's just like, oh, that's great. So how do you like that potato? And I was just like, oh, it's really good, thanks. And she was just like, yeah, so what's your major? And I was like, it's business. She's like, oh, I know some people doing business. And I was like, so does everybody. And then she told me this. She was just like, so I love BYU, Idaho, you know. And I was like, that's great. She said, well, I've been here. I graduated 10 years ago, but I just love it so much up here. I love the singles wards. I love the whole vibe. And at that point, my red flags went all the way up. I was like, holy smokes. I thought this was a faculty. I thought this was a student's mom. But this gal was hitting on me. And I was just like, no. And so
it's an understandable temptation.
Right after that, get this. She says, I kid you not, she says this. She approaches, she's like, so, actually, I am a licensed massage therapist, and you look pretty tense, and I would be willing to give you a massage for free. And I grew up in a no-touching house, and I was just like, holy smokes. I was like, I've seen Taken. I know where this is going. Holy smokes. I was like, my whole body just tensed. I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. And then she just kept doubling down. She was just like, no, totally. Just give me your number. Give me your number, and I'll come over, and I'll give you a massage. It'll be great. I was just like, I felt like Joseph in Egypt. I was like, I got to get out of here. This is crazy. You know?
Okay, all of us, look, this girl could pull up horrible examples of just dates gone wrong, and we could all cringe at it. So you had one. I'm sure this girl's had some too. I'm speaking about the generalities.
Point is, I'm just saying, like, aggressiveness. Like, that American wife that was being aggressive. It's like, men do not find that aggressiveness attractive, right? You got to read the room a little bit. Pick up on those little Blues Clues that they're dropping down. Get your little notepad and crayon out and say, okay. He tensed up when I mentioned that I could give him a massage. He started looking at all the escapes, all the exits. As soon as I said I would come by and give him a massage, maybe he doesn't think I'm attractive, you know?
Okay, we got to let this poor girl finish, and then we're going to...
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Then we'll go over the comments, and Sam and Mosiah are going to freaking guide us through the comments here. And then maybe I'll read some super chats here. So here we go.
Why? Why does commitment feel like a threat instead of a goal?
Okay. Now we're starting to accuse, starting to shame. And that's what feminism teaches women to do. If there's a problem, it's the man's fault. It's toxic masculinity. Why does commitment scare you? You know, and that's where it started getting problematic for me. We continue.
And why does it seem like the moment a woman is educated, has her own money, her own opinions, her own life, her own house, it's suddenly intimidating?
Okay, is it intimidation, guys, or is it something else?
Sam's eyebrows went so high, I almost lost it in the hairline.
The only thing I can think of, so Mosiah painted it perfectly. You know, Cardin, you love Jasmine Rapley, correct?
Oh, she's great, yeah.
And who is perfect for Jasmine?
Neil Rapley.
Neil Rapley,
yeah.
Right? Because, because when Jasmine wants to...
If there were a match
level,
made in heaven, a guy like me would drive her nuts. A guy like my friends would drive her nuts.
Yes.
You know
imagine going on a date, and the entire date you're being analyzed by somebody who has a bachelor's degree in analyzing people, right? And potentially a lot of that bleeds out. And I think a lot of subconsciously, we don't realize it, but that narrows down like your pool of potential people who would be interested, you know, to people that think the same way as you essentially, or relatively along the same lines are okay with that.
Wait, so are you saying psychology majors are undateable?
I mean, potentially.
Wait, shut up! Really? See, I think it enriches the relationship and the conversation. You don't like it, huh?
Potentially, for you, potentially, right? But if I'm always being psychoanalyzed, every little thing I do, right, every little facial expression, and then I get on top of that. If I get like, you know, it's the bad.
Maybe we're giving too much credit to the bachelor's degrees here. But yeah, keep going. I interrupted you.
No, but honestly, it goes back to Cardin when you played that video. It's like you come home and you just get like analyzed and badgered all day. You know, she's coming home from her job because obviously she has a bachelor's in this, so she's probably going to start working, I would assume. And it's just not something that you like, at least for me, that I'd want to come home to. And it's serious red flags. And perhaps she doesn't even know that she would be putting some of this stuff off in just her natural conversations with people that she's dating. But yeah, like there's a Jasmine for a Neil, right? And there's somebody for
So quick question. That brings up a really good question. So what kind of man is this gal actually looking for? Like under her current mindset?
Well, also,
what
does
kind
she
of man
need
is
one?
she attracting?
Does she even need one? Because the other thing is when you brag about your independence and you brag about you already got the house, you got to do this, you got to that. It's like, what's the guy there for?
Yeah, it's a turn off.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
big turn off. Yeah.
And so it's like
you're saying she's attracting a chia pet at this point.
Yeah.
Chia.
Perhaps, yeah. And guys don't want to be cheapettes.
So
most guys don't.
So
careful.
I don't.
Hey, there you go.
I've never been turned off by a woman that makes a bunch of. Sometimes my wife, it actually frustrates her how unjealous I am. You know, like she reads these like romance. Dragonlance books where like a guy says, "Oh, I don't like the way he's looking at you," and you know, like she almost wishes I was more jealous. But like she'll say that, she'll be like, "Oh yeah, that guy was checking me out." Like, yeah, it's because you're hot. Like, you know, and then like she's literally told me sometimes like, "I wish you were more jealous," right? I'm like, what am I gonna do? Say, "Don't look at her, she's hot." No, I will go up to her and say, "Yeah, dude, she's hot. Check that out. I bought her those jeans, dude. Look at that, man." Hey, honey. You know what I'm saying? Stand sideways. It's more flattering. Like, you know, just like,
right.
I'm not a jealous guy, so I've never been intimidated by women that make lots of money or are very successful. In fact, oftentimes it's fun dating them because they're oftentimes very intelligent, very good. So for me, that might be a positive fit. However, I can see why many normal guys who generally appreciate being needed might think of somebody who already has everything. Well, gosh, do you even need me? And if that person is not good at emotionally articulating in a vulnerable fashion what they might need from the man and why they might need it, then he will just go where he's appreciated. Because here's one thing that all men of all stripes, whether they're my personality, Neil Rapley's personality, Hayden Holm, or King Mosiah, or Sam Saint Laurent's personality, all of us agree we don't get enough of the big A word, which is what? Appreciation.
Appreciation. Yeah.
We never get enough appreciation. And if you're already rattling off so many...
Speak for yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, there you go.
So, I mean, that's a
you,
consistent... That's a consistent complaint I've heard from most guys, that they don't feel like they get enough appreciation. So, all right, we'll let her finish.
Right.
You got something to say? I heard somebody speak up. What do they got to say?
I have something to say. Would you guys say that it's important, your first impression that you make whenever you're trying to date somebody? Would you guys say that it's super important for a woman and a guy, when you guys are pursuing somebody else, first impressions, and that how that could actually be a turn on or a turn off? And so, and I think most of us would agree that, hey, there is some sort of social cues and some sort of emotional intelligence, I would say, as well, in order to approach somebody. Now, I'm just speaking on my experience and my perspective, because I'm in sales and I've been a sales professional for like 11 years. And so something that I teach my salespeople is that whenever you meet somebody for the first time, they have the right to judge you during the first 2 seconds of an interaction. They have totally the right to judge you and to create an immediate perception about who you are, right? So how do we increase our odds? We actually, the way you smile, how you talk to other people, your eye contact, your hand gestures, the way you speak, the tonality of your voice. That's super important. Those are cues that we receive from each other that create attraction. Now, that's the first stage. Now, I already talked about like compatibility. That's something that you learned as you date, and that's the purpose of dating. I think in Utah we see this culture where like the first time we date, immediately we receive an immediate reaction, immediate perspective about who they are, and we say, yeah, that's not for me. To the next one. When in dating, it's a little bit more complex. We're human. We're complex people. And so for me, at least, I'm speaking from my experience when I would date and I was actually looking for a wife back then in Salt Lake City. I said, okay, I'm 24. I really want to find a wife. I did my college and I want to seriously approach dating. Okay, now my attitude is different. Now I'm not playing around. Now I'm not like the guy that is just joking around and, just being a goof. Now I'm actually like looking at a certain traits, and my attitude and my body language actually communicates an intention to these people. So if I'm a man that is ready to date seriously and to potentially get married, I'm probably going to give them signs, right? And probably these women are going to feel those signs. But yet again, you're not going to find out if somebody's the right person in the first date. I would actually have a rule. I'm going to date them for like 4 days and see how they are. I'm going to find out so many things on these 4 dates, and then maybe I will find out a better, more well-rounded perspective about that person. And so, but I think her problem, going back to her problem really quick, I think the problem that she's posing is that probably she doesn't understand as well what the message she's sending. Like, is that what does she think is going to make me feel when I hear those things, those complaints? What is the message that she's trying to sell me? And so, because I'm being sold, probably she's not like that. Probably she's a sweetheart. She's a really nice person. But what I'm being sold right now is that she's probably a little complaining. Maybe it's not true. Maybe she's a little putting like a victim attitude towards her situation. Maybe that's not true. But that's the message she's selling me right now.
Yeah, that's
I 100% agree with that. Yeah. Like right now, Somali daycares are attracting more return missionaries than she is, right? With that kind of messaging, or that messaging is going to attract fewer. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, this poor girl's just getting roasted. I think she looks lovely. She's very physically attractive, in the mere act.
Nothing about the looks. I'm saying the messaging.
No,
like
I get
the whole body language, all of that.
No, I get you're not attacking her looks, but I'm saying, actually, all of the flaws of her argument included, I actually think she made herself more dateable just by sheer exposure. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a strategy. I mean, it works. It works.
Just by sheer exposure.
There's a gal in the Instagram group who like met her husband by doing
Sarah Clark.
Sarah Clark. Yeah, she did that.
Yeah, and it was beautiful, and we'll bring that up later. So let's I'm going to cover a couple of super chats. Let's let her finish, then I'm going to cover some super chats. So first things first. Here's the we're going to finish reacting to her commentary, then I'm going to go over super chats.
Because independence doesn't mean we don't want a partnership. It means we're choosing you.
Okay, that's a good phrase, and that's a sound bite that I hear a lot coming out of women. But you're right, independence doesn't mean that, I can't rewind. What did she say? Independence doesn't mean... I can't remember the word she used, but it does. Oh gosh, I don't want to go back. The thought escaped me, but
doesn't mean we need you, but we're choosing.
Yeah,
is that what she said?
No, sorry. Independence doesn't mean lack of. I don't remember what it was, but it does.
It just goes to show when a woman starts talking down to men like that, it just kind of men turn off. Like it just right over the head. It's just like, all right. Tell me how bad I am. All right, go ahead. You
took the words right out of my mouth. It's more of a vibe. It doesn't insinuate a future need of dependence, which makes guys think I'm not needed here. Like if we all show up to move the new family into the ward, and we pull up and everything's out of the truck and it's already done, do we show up and say, oh, well, do you have any emotional needs? Like, do you feel secure in the new neighborhood yet? No, guys kind of go like, oh, they don't need us anymore. Okay, well, we'll go play baseball. Like, it's Saturday morning. You know, we're simple-minded like that. And I hate to say that, for better or for worse. Men go where they're needed and where they feel appreciated. And when women consistently signal that a man in their life is not needed nor appreciated, then... you're not flies, honey.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like David Murrow in his book, Why Men Hate Going to Church, he made a very profound line where he said, men don't go where they're not needed. And so if you are saying, I don't need a man, you are also signaling that I do not want to date a man. And he's going to say, Roger that. I will look elsewhere.
Well, and also, even if you're not saying that, don't mistakenly say it. Like Elder Holland said something very, very smart. He said, as parents, you have to learn to master this. If you have daughters, you can't say, oh, I love Jennifer because she's so intelligent, and I love Stacy because she's so beautiful. Because all Stacy is going to hear is that dad thinks I'm dumb, and all Jennifer is going to hear is that dad thinks I'm ugly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you just can't do that to women. And if you are emotionally intelligent, you'll learn the flip side of that. Don't virtue signal and don't signal that you don't need a man. Because the more you do that, the more you signal that, then the more they're going to think, oh, she doesn't need a man. She'll take that seriously. You'll end up being lonely. And whether it was mistaken, like the father that meant to compliment both of his daughters or not, it's an unforced error in dating that I see a lot. And also the other thing too is we've almost vilified femininity to such a degree. Like it. we almost
that is a good point, because like the energy that she's giving off is like, I'm going to be like a coworker with you one day, haha, you know, and we're going to be working at the same job, doing the same things, making the same kind of money. It's like, men don't want that. It is like, men don't want to marry their coworker.
Well,
men don't want that.
Carter, I'd be interested. You said you have Joe in the studio.
Yeah, he's right here. He's more of the silent and stoic type.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested to know, like, as far as like the dating scene, if the first thing, because when I was dating back in like 2010, social media wasn't as big of a deal, right? But like Joe, the question I have for Joe is, do you go on whoever you're gonna date or are dating? Do you go on their social media and see, like, look at their profiles and whatnot?
He's going on a mission, man.
Go
Well,
for
is
it.
that not something you do?
What do you mean? Like before you go on a date with them?
Or even after you started dating them? Yeah, potentially before or after. Are you like looking at their social and like looking at like what they have on there, what they prioritize on their social media?
I would say that's probably something most people do like before. Just kind of like see what you can find out.
Yeah, because I'm seeing some like major red flags for if I was single and dating in this 2025 on her Instagram. That would be like instant red flags. Like,
Oh no, really? Like what?
Yeah.
Social media
Yeah, like,
audit
just-
right here. Okay, fine.
okay,
We're doing
so
it live. We're
let's
doing it live.
Let's just look at her Instagram, right? And like this is
Okay.
all hopefully like she can get a perspective from like at least my perspective.
Okay.
And I am a man, so we'll go
Okay.
with that. So right away, name fine. Underneath her name, fine, right? Picture, I think that's a pantsuit. First
Okay.
red flag for me.
Okay.
Second, credentials. Credentials underneath, like that you have a degree from a place or maybe multiple degrees. Second red flag, because I don't know. Perhaps for me, like I don't prioritize that even on my social that I have a degree.
Right.
Although on my Facebook, I do have that. I've gone to.
Okay, now why not
Yeah.
though? Because maybe she's like, I look at that and I think, oh, BS in psychology, ISU,
Yes.
LMSW, BSU. So those are the colleges she went to, right?
Yep.
So I might just say like,
So how is that perceived from the from our young unmarried friends' perspective?
well, now the feminists are just going to clip us and see, look, anti-intellectual Mormon men just want dumb women to be barefoot and pregnant in their kitchens. You know, and like,
So different in Facebook, because Facebook you actually can like link your university, right? In Instagram, I don't think that's what that is on there. Like she went in there and intentionally put that in there. And so that's a lot
Okay.
different. So now if I were to look at that profile and see like, oh, you like this is like, you know, you do like you have some psychology stuff on here, or perhaps like that's one of your hobbies or you're interested in it, or like that's your profession, that makes sense. It checks out. But nothing in her Instagram shows that.
I'm just gonna say something as well, because
okay.
if I was single, like personally, if I saw her bio, but before I saw her bio, that video popped up, yes, and I looked at her, maybe I would create like a preconceived perception.
Correct.
Right? Now, this is not me judging her. It's just how we as humans perceive each other quickly. Like,
Yes.
this is not me being like judging her. Like, it's just like a quick, immediate reaction. All of us, we do that naturally. So, but if I didn't see her profile and I saw her in person, and then she talked to me, and chances are I had a lovely interaction with her, and I was like, wow, you're a great person. And then I go into her Instagram and I see that she's majoring in psychology. I would be like, wow, this is why I had a great conversation with her, because she has a lot of depth. Maybe she understands human behavior. And, you know, I'm attracted to that person. I'm attracted to intelligent women. And so I think it just depends. And you know, it's a thing that I don't want people to think that I don't want people that are watching that we're just trashing her or anything like that. I think the way that I personally approach it is just how we sell ourselves. And in this situation, she chose to make a video, to record herself, and she chose to put it out there. And like it or not, she's selling a message about her, right? Now, as a viewer, we reserve our right to perceive it the way we want according to our personality, because everybody's different. Hayden is gonna perceive it differently based on his lived experiences. Sam is gonna do the same. Carton, you're gonna do the same in a different way. And the way that I see it, I'm just looking at it a little bit more neutral without trying to like just destroy her. I think it's just about how we perceive. If she wants to date men, I'm not sure, or like a specific, she wants to go and pursue men and attract men. The question would be, are you achieving that through that type of content? Maybe not. Maybe she's attracting other females to be able to, support her on her message of, let's just be a little bit against these ideologies. So she's creating female followers, maybe, or maybe because of that video, she finds somebody that resonated with that message and says like, hey, I really like what you're about. Let's go on a date.
Okay.
Yeah, he's putting on his sweater vest and he's saying, let's go, sweetheart. Yeah. Will you pick me up at 7?
Jeez.
But yeah, my whole message was just perception. That's it.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
I will say, I don't see any red flags with her profile. To me, this is just very banal and normal for a girl that has studied psychology or social work or something. I will say, though, that something we have lost under the auspices of feminism over the past 50 years is the ability of women to safely self-express their most feminine virtues and instead only feel comfortable. I'm not saying this is her psychology. I'm saying many women's psychology.
Right.
Only feel comfortable expressing their most masculine traits. And this social media profile, really, it's a lot more like a resume that, and who knows, maybe she maintains it that way just so that if employers look at her, she's safe on social media, right?
Yeah.
But in that sterilization process, something is lost. And we really have lost. Like, women used to go to finishing school. Like, the ability to project
there
as
used to be like a
feminine,
whole home economics class. Yeah.
And women would really like work on and feel pressured by their peer group to appear and behave as feminine as they possibly could, because that was an espoused virtue of society. But that has so been sterilized from women by feminism that now, like, it's almost anathema. It's almost like, part of the reason why I've got this really odd theory, but part of the reason why I swear pornography is so prevalent in our society isn't just because of the general sexual urges of men and women, but I think like porn stars and strippers and e-girls are like the only women who are allowed to be overtly feminine because it's their employ.
Interesting.
It's like anybody else, if you're just like overtly feminine, like, oh, I just decided to do my hair and my makeup and look stunning today. It's like, well, that's patriarchy. That's you feeling pressured for the male gaze to perform. And who are these men to demand this from you? This is an example of toxic masculinity. And it's like, literally, unless you're a porn star going to make money off of men or a stripper going to overtly get tips from men, you're like just not allowed to be beautiful for beauty's sake anymore. Meanwhile, we used to literally teach that to women. We used to teach it to them, and I realized this was lost when I dated a girl at BYU who had been, it was, no, I shouldn't say dated. I had several interactions with the girl before she moved away. She was in my ward, and I remember I met her and I was wildly attracted to her, and I was talking to my friends about it, and her face wasn't some stunning, drop dead, gorgeous face. Her body wasn't some rockin' bod, like straight out of the gym, Victoria's Secret model style or whatever, but she was so graceful. I remember it was like so attractive as a man. And in my second interaction with her, I asked her about it. I said, you just walk more like beautifully. And she said, oh yeah, I served my mission in the Tempe, Arizona mission, and our mission president forced us to take finishing classes. So she said, I can balance 3 hymn books on my head right now. She takes out the hymn books and 1950s debutante style.
Look at that.
I'm not
That's
kidding.
the equivalent of backflipping.
No, it's an equivalent of backflipping.
Hey, there we go. Hey.
And no joke, she puts it on her head and she says, does somebody have a pen? I produce a pen from my pocket. She says, drop it. And she drops it. And then she says, watch this. She puts one foot 45 degrees, the second foot 25 degrees, whatever they taught her in finishing school. She drops down, just having her hand next to her, perfectly picks up the pen, and then hands it back to me. And she says, here you go, sir, without dropping the books off her head. And in that moment, I realized her sheer femininity just from being a polished, returned sister missionary. And she said, oh yeah, I had to do this in heels. And I just remember thinking,
You just lost the whole crunchy crowd that subscribes to Ward Radio right there.
Yeah, exactly. But it was so refined and divine and beautiful. It reminded me of that talk given. You have to read the talk, Our Refined Heavenly Home. This girl personified it. And before I met my wife, Brittany, who was an ex-ballerina, she was the most refined woman I ever met. And physically, she was not the most attractive. I wouldn't say by a long shot because that's cruel, but she was not even in the top 10 of girls I ever laid my eyes on. But the most attracted I'd been to a woman up until that point, and it was because of her grace and this art of femininity that's been lost. And I knew it was lost when I became a film producer in New York. I started doing for a lot of big brands like Wella, big hair care brands and salons in New York. We would do social media content, and I had to stop hiring models. You know Ballerina Farm? Hannah Ballerina Farm? You know her?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, well, me and her actually were in the same ward, singles ward in New York when she went to Juilliard. And
cool.
Like literally, I remember talking to her about this on like a group date that we were on. I had to stop hiring models based on their comp cards for this video content because you'd have this stunningly beautiful woman in a single frame shot. But when they showed up, they'd have horrible posture. I called it iPhone posture. It looks like they'd just been texting all day on a phone.
Right.
And when we'd want them to just represent this brand gracefully and walk in and hold something, they just like walk in frumpy, couldn't know how to look. And these girls were like brand ambassadors for big names. And I finally said, Hannah, give me the number of like whoever runs Juilliard's ballet department. Like, you walk so gracefully. All your friends walk so gracefully. By the time hair and makeup is done with you girls, like, you're all going to look stunning anyway. So can I just have Juilliard's ballet dancer person's number? Because at this point, I'd rather get girls that can walk gracefully and are trained in that, and then just do whatever hair and makeup needs to do to them to make them look beautiful, because you can't do the reverse. You can't take a physically attractive girl that is not trained in the art of feminine grace and make her as beautiful as a woman that is trained in the art of feminist grace and then has professional hair and makeup done to her. So, like, we've so vilified this in society.
Right, it's a lost art these days.
It's a lost art, exactly.
Hey, speaking of, reading super chats might become a lost art on this live stream. It looks like you got some people mad at you.
Yeah, sorry. I'm doing it right now, guys. I apologize. Here we go. So here's our super chats. First,
how about that
super chat.
segue, though, huh?
Yeah, that was good.
Not bad.
So Nerdy Heathen says some truth, some misconception. Both genders have issue when it comes to dating. It's not a one-side's problem only. Wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yes.
Nicole Manwaring. By the way, if you guys want to jump in, just say I want to jump in, okay? Nicole Manwaring says, I'm 45 and still single. I've been divorced for 18 years and my kids are raised. I feel like it's hard to meet a guy, or where to meet a guy is difficult. That's true for that age demographic. Over 50% of Mormons right now are mid-single adults, and our church, I think, could do better to help cater to that crowd and enable dating. I actually considered starting a dating app for mid-single adults. I've been too busy
here's the
with
deal.
other stuff.
There's a big problem with the singles. This could be a whole episode in itself.
Yeah.
But I'll just tell you a quick anecdote. I've got a young man who just I know a young man who went to the singles ward, right? Great guy, amazing young man. He goes to the singles ward. He shows up day one at the singles ward, and then I see him at the very next Sunday at the family ward, and I'm like, what happened? And he's just like, those guys are weird, man. Like, those guys in the singles ward are so weird. Apparently, the whole elders quorum had Nerf guns, and they were like running around the chapel shooting each other with Nerf guns. And
sounds fun.
I was just like, oh man, we have fallen so far. And so after that, he told his mom, like, I don't want to go to the singles ward. Just put me in the family ward. And I'm like, oof. You know, I think singles wards definitely do. I think there's a lot that we could do for singles wards.
The only criticism that's valid from ex-Mormon anti-Mormons, or that carries water, is this concept of bishop roulette. And I don't think it's necessarily bishop roulette as much as ward roulette. Some congregations are just more jovial, more lively, more fun, more entertaining than others. And sometimes it can be a mixed bag. Okay, we're going to burn through another 5 super chats here. Parker Jacobs says, saw this the other day and was going to send to my single sons at BYUI with an "I'm sorry what you're up against. The boys are scared as it is." Yes.
Yes.
Young men are terrified of dating. What's your take on that?
Who are you talking to?
You,
me
any
or
of
Sam?
you guys.
Or was it?
When I was the Scoutmaster in Boy Scouts, so many
Yeah.
young men saw their friends get savaged online by girls. Without any redemption ever. They just said, not worth it, not worth the risk. I'm not touching them.
No, yeah, there are a lot more pressures that are facing men today, especially single men that are dating. Like if things go bad, if things go south, like the girl might just blast him online. She might make a reel, just like this gal is doing, and just say like, "Hey, had a terrible date. This guy, I invited him. I thought he was going to be cute," and blah blah blah, and then just blast that out into the internet. No guy wants to do that. He doesn't want to deal with that. He didn't wake up thinking like, "I want to be a meme online." Men are terrified about that. So that in itself is terrifying, but also just having to put up with these gals that are performative contradictions. So this is kind of what happens when you get this mixture of feminism and the church, where they're trying to say, all right, I want to get married to a man, a very traditional value, but I also want him to not have me at home. I want to be the bread. I want to be a co-breadwinner with him, and I want to be a partner, and I want to do all of this. And so it's like men are looking at that. It's like, well, I'm being told that I want to be obedient to like the family proclamation, and I want to have a wife that's going to support me. I want to have a family. And you're seeing a lot of these girls that are like, that's not my proclamation. I'm going out there. I'm doing my me proclamation, And then they start, playing that song, like the fight song, this is my fight song. And so, I mean, you see a lot of that. It's like, oh man, I don't know. It is harder. And every day I just praise my stars that I dated and got married before the apps came out and before internet dating was a thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get Joseph's take here on like it has changed a ton. Joseph, you're a resident Gen Alpha. Like he's like, hey, whoa. Boomers are talking.
Yeah, I'm Gen Z. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, we got King Mosiah Gen Z here.
Just kidding. I'm millennial.
Oh, you're a millennial.
Hey,
yeah.
There we go.
What's the risk reward analysis of dating with social media now? How much do you feel it's changed dating from older generations of men
Probably a fair amount, but I feel like the overall concept is still the same.
Okay, are you afraid of getting flamed on social media or having your life ruined by a bad date?
Not really. I mean, that's totally up to you, I feel like. First of all, you control who you end up in a relationship with, and second of all, you control what you say and do while in that relationship. And so if you're wise about both those things, then that eliminates the risk of getting blasted all over social media, I feel like.
Okay, fair enough. Joseph is a wise man. Let's burn through the rest of the super chats because we're already into overtime, guys. Holy smoke, I can't believe this has been totally fun. We'll finish the super chats and we'll let the girl finish, and then we'll react to her finish, and then react to a couple of the comments. So here we go. Chris Breezy says we need a Women of Ward radio version of this video, or at least a combined Relief Society Elders Quorum version of this whole debate. Fog Defense says, why was it that humble was missing from her list of qualifications? Ooh, rough.
Ooh, good call out.
Yeah. Well, she also might have just, she's probably just spitballing there, right? Kaori says, by the way, Cardin Sam has also read Nephi's Tabernacle. Thank you very much for the super chat, Kaori. And Gork says, when I went wife hunting, I was looking for someone that wanted to put a family first in her life. I have a successful career to support my family. I don't want somebody who treats the family like a side hobby. Oh,
yes,
that one's savage.
Aggressively agree with that. Yes.
Okay, that's something that also, oh gosh. who was in my studio that said it? I think it was Laura Welch. Yes, it was Laura Welch that said one of her biggest eye-opening experiences when she was in her Ivy League school, and she had created a family group for like master's degree students. I think it was at Harvard or at Yale, one of the big Ivy League schools, where she said, I was amazed at how many women thought that the family was meant to help support their career instead of their career meant to help support their family. And that's one of the difficulties of the 50-year reign of feminism that we've lived underneath. Also, I didn't give Chris Breezy enough credit. You're right. We should have a Women of Ward Radio version of this vid and do it with some girls next time. We'll do the guys' reaction first, then we'll do the girls. Gork continues to say, also, it's perfectly okay for you guys to change into something the girls want, but heaven forbid someone say maybe the girls should do something that would attract the guys. It's
Look
a
at
double
that.
standard.
He went there.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
Okay, well, I actually, right here, let me send this in the Discord real quick.
Okay.
Pull this up, if you will. We have some stats so that we're not just blowing smoke over here. So it may be a little dated, but there's an article out there that says, what do Mormon men want in a wife?
Okay.
So if you want to pull that
It's up. What do Mormon men want in a wife? And it's from LDS Living.
All right. So they had like a bunch of different qualities, and they were asking a bunch of different men from the church, what is most important to you for your wife to have? Do you want to take a look at those like top 10? You see the top 10 in there?
Yeah.
So,
if I zoom in, it's a good, oh gosh, what is it? I can't read this. What's it say? And it says, when I click on it, it says
number one.
Yeah.
The highest, universally, the highest. So women, get out your pens and papers, right? Shoo the cats out of the room and pay attention. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Number one, be a good parent. That was a trait that all men that they pulled, and I don't know who they pulled, but they say they pulled Mormon men. So be a good parent, 9.46 is what it ranked. The second, being temple worthy.
Interesting.
Was 9.43. All right. And so this is, we asked men to rate the importance of each of the following 15 qualities in their spouse, current or future, on a scale of 1 to 10. And from that, we were able to create a picture of the ideal Mormon woman according to the Mormon man. Here's what they think is most important. So being a good parent, being temple worthy. Number 3, being a great spouse. So you see that? 3 of those things. What do they have to deal with? Family. It's not like career, boss babe, none of that. That is nowhere in there. It's not like, I'm looking for a woman that's going to be strong and independent, that's going to go to bed in a pantsuit, and that's going to make me wear a sweater vest every time I go to church.
Yeah, go ahead. Hayden, the song doesn't go, I'm looking for a woman in finance, all right? That's not how that song goes. Right.
That's right, yeah. And so we can keep going down this list. Number 4, being compassionate. Compassion, all right? Having a sense of humor, being a good listener, that's number 5, being a good listener. And then having a sense of humor, 8.57. Number 7, being intelligent. So that actually agrees with her. So men are looking for women that are going to be intelligent. Number 8, being healthy and physically fit. Okay, so that's going back to the rowboat statement that I made earlier. So this is actually a thing. It's backed by science. So this isn't just me spewing things. Number 9, being physically attractive. All right, so if you're looking top 10, 9 is being physically attractive. 10, being the spiritual leader in their home. So so look at this. How many of those things are dealing with spirituality? How many of those things are dealing with let's create a family together? Like a lot of those things are saying. So the list that she put out there, like emotionally intelligent and, career driven.
Look at the last
they're
2.
Successful.
Yeah, look at the last 2 on that.
That's the really
graph.
interesting part. Number 14, being successful financially, 5.04, right? So for a lot of men, nothing. And then 15, having a successful career is at the very bottom. Oh, no. Look at that. So like the thing that she believes is at the top of her little dating food pyramid there is actually at the bottom of the men's food pyramid when it comes to who they find attractive. And so like that whole career thing, you know, being independent is like, yeah, men are just scared of the independent. It's like, no, men are not attracted to that. That's not what they find attractive when they are looking for a woman to marry.
What I would say in her defense also is that I actually took a really interesting class. I used to call it Man Hating 101. It was called Sex and Gender, and it was at BYU. But some of the statistics were very interesting. And did you know that when polled, and it's interesting because the measurable quantifier was 15 then as well, that men and women classify 14 of the top 15 markers of attraction, okay? The exact same 14 out of 15 markers of attraction is what they seek out of a partner when given like an option of like 30 of them. Their top 15 are 14 out of 15 are the same top 14 out of 15. They're just in a different order. And here's the proof. Like, let's just say there's attractiveness and then there's intelligence. Okay.
Right.
Women constantly say, oh, all men want is good looks. They're obsessed with good looks, right? And I don't know, let's just say money's the other one. And all men say like, oh, all women want, they're all gold diggers. They just want money. Well, hold on. Give each other a little bit more grace, guys. The proof is women are obsessed with looks as well. Slow your roll, ladies. You're just obsessed with physicality, but just a different kind. You may not be a butt or a boobs girl, like guys are butt and boobs guys, but how many girls do you know will not date a man shorter than them?
That would also be called a lesbian. Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't want to put that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, but yeah, go ahead.
So physicality does matter, but what's interesting is they just want it in a different order. So men, if they meet a woman that's attractive, but then she doesn't have a good personality, what happens in a relationship? It tanks. They lose interest and move on. And women, let's be honest, though they may be interested in mental stimulation first and getting to know him, if he's not attractive, then they move on. And the proof is, no matter how great the guy's personality, if he's too short, they move on. So like 14 out of 15 measurable quantifiers are shared by men and women, just in a different order. So yes, financial stability in the home is important. And maybe that's an interesting trait that you bring to the relationship. But if you don't know to show your other traits first, then you are hamstringing yourself. You're hamstringing yourself.
Right.
Okay, more super chats and we'll keep going. We got another super chat here. Says Natalie Kroc, I think it says, one guy didn't want a second date because I did not have a master's degree. Another did not like I made more than him and have a degree, even though I was 3 years older than him, so more experienced. Huh.
Is that your assumption, or did he actually say that?
That's true. That's true. We gotta. I don't know. That's interesting. Message us back. We'll continue the convo. Ammonitis says, as a single 36-year-old girl, we're tired and kind of angry, cheating, lying. The only healthy relationships we find are out of the church, and we're an inch away from giving up on a ceiling. Don't give up. But I empathize with this. Don't resort to anger. It never works. And there are prick men out there cheating and lying. I've had lovely family members of mine that have been lied to and cheated on. But I will tell you right now, I disproportionately find men looking to get married desperately over women looking to get married desperately right now. And the guy grind hasn't changed in 2,000 years, as Kwaku says, but the girl grind has. So it's we're suffering from the effects of feminism. Like I don't know how to say it other than it's a social ill from which we are still sick, and until we get out of our system, I don't think dating will return to any kind of replacement birth rate in America, because it's just too toxic what it does to the female psychology. Okay. Ed227 at 6 LDS says we need Brittany to come in and heal our male trauma from watching this girl. And then Righteous Trouble says, dang, with this discussion, you really are looking for righteous trouble. Love it. And then finally, last one, Nicole Manwaring says, I tried the singles ward and never again, LOL. I've got hot takes on the singles ward and why I think they should be dissolved, but they're not very popular, so we won't say them here. Hayden, keep going.
Yeah, we'll put that behind the paywall, right?
Yeah, exactly. Do we finish?
Yeah, so
do we finish the girls' thoughts, or what do we do?
What I would say, just to put a little bow on this, you know, but this gift that we're giving to her is that I had an experience when I was a young man and I was thinking about getting married, and I was scared. I was terrified, but not because my wife was, you know, this independent boss babe. She was super intelligent. I was really attracted to her. I was just looking at the finances. I was running the numbers in my head, and I'm like, Chanel, I'm only making like $300 a month. Like, I've got nothing. I got nothing. I spent all my money on your engagement ring. I'm out of money. Like, I got nothing in my bank account. Which, by the way, is a great place to start your marriage, because then you know that they're actually marrying you because they like you. But that's a discussion for another day. But so I was really worried, and I was going to tell her, like, let's wait a year. I was 100% on board to say, I'm scared. Let's wait a year. I can get financially more stable. I can get my feet under me, and then we'll be fine from there. And so she starts picking up on this, and she's just like getting a little squirrely. She's getting a little clammy, and she's like, "Oh, are you all right?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Cause I was in my mind preparing to say like, hey, let's wait a year. We go and we sit in there's like this fireside that we went to, and there's this mission president that was speaking at the fireside. And we sit down, and I wasn't expecting much out of this fireside. I sit down, and what this guy said, he's like, I meet a lot of young men who are worried about getting married. And a lot of young women that worry about getting married as well. And he says, I give them the same advice. He says, what you should do is just focus on being a good boy and a good girl, and God will put the person that you are supposed to be with in your path. So focus on becoming a great disciple of Jesus Christ and forget about the rest. And the person that you are supposed to marry will come into your path in your life at a time that God dictates. And I thought about that for a second, and like as soon as I thought about that, like all my fears just went away. I was just like, wait a second, maybe God put Chanel in my life because he knew that I was going to be able to financially handle marriage. And that gave me enough chutzpah, as the kids say, to actually pull the trigger and get married. So I got married. We ate a lot of rice and beans in our first year of marriage, but we made it work, and we're going on like 13 years this August. So
congrats.
So it works out. It works out. Just be a good disciple. Just focus on
How many are happy? Yes.
What was that? Oh, yeah.
How many of those happy now?
Yeah, well, that's a discussion we'll put that behind the paywall too.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, dude, some of these comments, bro, are just freaking hilarious. Let's let her finish, and then we'll go to the comments. So, one more time, Felicia, which is a lovely name, Felicia Lee. Here we go.
Not needing you. And I feel like some LDS men are raised with this idea that they need to be the provider, the leader, the fixer, and if a woman already has her life together, it makes them feel unnecessary.
By the way, if your definition of a life together does not include a man, men pick up on that, don't feel needed, and go elsewhere.
Yes.
If your definition of having your life together just doesn't include wanting or needing a man, they pick up on that and they go elsewhere. And so, yeah, that's let's keep going.
But here's the thing. No one is asking you to be our dad. We want a teammate, a partner, a best friend, someone to grow with. Crazy. Also, can we talk about the fear of commitment? Like, you'll date someone for months, do coupley things, meet friends, family members, talk about the future, and then the second things get real, it's like, gone. I'm just not ready. Ready for what? Because marriage has always been the goal here. And it just feels like a lot of amazing women are being passed over because some men are scared of not being needed.
Okay. Is the problem we're scared of not being needed?
Mosiah had a big moan over there.
Could be. I would say that I'm just speaking from my experience. Like, you know, as somebody that came actually from a different country, I mean, with nothing. I mean, I came to the United States as an international student, and I realized, holy crap, everybody's dating here in Salt Lake City. This is like war. Like, everybody's just going date. Competition is crazy. Like, the competition was crazy. And so, yes, I did have the financial pressure on, like, dude, I have to provide, dude, I have to work harder than anybody else so that somebody actually wants to pay attention to me. I did have that for a little bit. But then, just as Hayden said, like, I always had this in the back of my head. that scripture that says, "Be in holy places, always be doing something good. Be engaged in a good cause. Do not pressure, do not force dating." The moment that I always forced it is the more that I reject them, the more that I got rejected. And so it's a funny thing. It's like you attract who you are. And so if you're actively engaging yourself in becoming better in all aspects, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and everything, I think good things happen for you. But the other thing that I kept in mind is that I wanted to find somebody that didn't necessarily care about the financial part to judge me right away. But however, I had an attitude, and I was working on myself to let that person know that, hey, maybe I don't have a car. In fact, when I got married, I didn't have a car. My wife was the one that had a car, and I felt a little bit like insecure at first because she would pick me up and to have dates, and the man is the one supposed to be picking her up, right? But it was the other way around. But she didn't care, first of all, and we were dirt poor. I mean, I was poor. When I got married, I had $400 in my bank account. I had nothing. But I honestly, yes, I had a fear about that, but I had an assurance that she wanted to build that with me, and that gave me so much confidence. Like, dude, I'm so excited that even though we don't have anything right now, how cool it's going to be that we get to build this together. We're going to struggle, but then we're going to build this together. And so, yeah, we went from nothing to having more wealth, I guess. But yeah, there's a pressure from men for sure. So a lot of men just feel insecure. I do relate with that. I think that's a problem for sure. But also men are looking for like women that just don't care about that, and they want to build something together and support and be a supporter. That's just my experience, I guess. So
okay, now have you dated in both countries?
Yeah, I dated before, right after my mission. I dated a bunch, and then here in Utah as well. Different games, 100%. In Mexico, you just date one person. That's it. In Salt Lake City, you go on a date, and you find out that girl just had 3 dates before you. So
really, which is easier to date, and which is more compatible to family formation culturally, American culture now or Mexican culture?
Yeah, generally speaking, I think Mexico is more focused on the family. It's United States. It's a very fast-moving pace, more capitalist, more consumer. It's just very fast-paced. Everything is fast-paced. You have to be spending and everything. It's just like that. So generally speaking, I would say that in Mexico, I found out more people just focus so much on the family and dating, on like finding those family bonds and so on. But I need to be careful because the government might be listening to this. So
yeah, dude, for real. You don't want to offend the overlords, bro. You don't want to offend the famous overlords. Okay, last couple of super chats we have right here. Oh my gosh, we got a buttload more really fast. Let me get through them really quick. Fog Defense says, if I had to choose between financial stability and chaos or financial instability and peace at home, I will always take financial instability every time.
That's an easy decision, yeah.
Yeah, I think all men just agree with that. LDS Response says the church teaches the importance of marriage, but I think choosing a spouse based on compatibility is missing. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't feel like anyone told me to just go marry anybody. Like, I don't remember getting that class in Sunday school. Like, no, it's like, yeah, go find your Eve, like go find someone with whom you can make an entire world. It's like, no, that's kind of the instruction I got, was like, go find someone that is your perfect person. Right? Go that you feel comfortable around, that you can, just like what Mosiah was talking about, actually share a struggle with and feel meaningfully engaged with them. Like, okay. It's this ideology that she's been sold. It's really sad. Like, this whole feminist ideology of like, it's sad that she feels like she needs to go get this career. She needs the money. She needs the success. She needs all of that. Like, she's being sold an ideology that is destroying her, and she needs to check the return policy before that window closes. Right.
Yeah. So, really fast, we've got 2 last super chats. Babums says, have mercy on the YSA. I was 19 years old. Air Force, first base was in Misawa, Japan. The only family I had was the YSA ward. Thanks to the YSA ward, I have a wife and 6-month-old baby boy. Also got sealed in the Sapporo temple. Good job, Babuns. You're awesome. Then Fight Sword Radio says, every first date I've been on the last several years, it has felt like a job interview. Had to quit dating within the church to find someone who I felt saw me as a person and not a product.
That's crazy.
Rough. And then Tikla says, if you don't need a man, then why are you broken up that women are getting passed over? You don't need him, then if you don't need him, don't get married. If you, quote, need a commitment, then you need a man. So own it. Whoa, Tikla.
Ooh, yeah.
Tikla's always bringing the heat.
Yeah. So she's calling this gal out on the mental gymnastics.
Well, it's not. It's the only problem with feminism in America, especially in the past 20 or 30 years, is it allows women to have a contingency model of they can choose in any given moment. Do I get to be feminine and traditional now, or do I get to be masculine and modern now? And I noticed this when I was in New York. When I was in New York, you show up on a date, and there's women that will get offended if you offer to pay or you pay for the first date. You might as well have slapped them. And they'll be like, what? Well, you think I can't pay my own bills? And it's like, whoa, I was literally just trying to be nice. Like, whoa, hold on.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but conversely, so a man, when that check comes, there's all of a sudden this existential crisis that happens where it's like, okay, I got to read this girl. I want to be kind and gentlemanly, and I want to pay for it. And my mother taught me that that's what gentlemen do on the first date. But that only works with this strange brew of traditional women. So is she going to be okay if I pay, or is she going to be one of those angry feminists that slaps it out of my hands and gets really, really, really angry at me and screams and just makes like a scene in the middle of the Starbucks? And then and all of a sudden,
yeah, I tell you, like, if she wants it, let her have it, by all means.
Yeah,
like,
but then
you
here's the deal.
You got to check your fishing hole.
She'll
like,
go
if you're
home
gonna
to her
fish in
friends.
a place with no fish, like, you're not going to find anything.
No, but this
you gotta take your fishing pole somewhere else.
Yes, but this is why feminism has been so destructive, because now the men don't know what to do or what their expectation is, and without that structure, they don't know how to perform. If you don't know what the 40-yard line is, how can you run the 40-yard dash faster than the next guy? So without those parameters, men don't know, and so in that moment, the woman gets to choose. If the date didn't go well, she can go home to her friends and she can be like, oh yeah, he was a prick. Tried to pay for my bill like I can't pay my own bills. Total prick.
And
or what'd you say?
And then make an Instagram reel about it.
Yeah. And then make an Instagram reel about it.
Yeah.
Or she could go home, like literally, that's a perfect example. Walking home from that date, she could either one of two things be, oh my gosh, I just went out on a date with a guy, and can you believe he didn't even offer to pay? Like, chivalry is dead. Where are men? Why aren't men stepping up? Or if you pay for it, then she can just go home if she didn't like the date and say like, oh my gosh, toxic masculinity refuses to die. I just went on a date and the guy just paid, like didn't even ask. Like what? Like women can't make money too? And men know this.
Right.
They've all been through it. They've all felt it.
Yeah.
And we don't want to go through it again.
I think there's a general rule of thumb that we could give this gal. So the general rule of thumb is it's actually a question. So what do men find really unattractive? Other men. Okay, so if you are trying to attract a man by being like a man, you are actually going to unattract that man. I know this may be like a shocker to a lot of people, but
yeah.
But yeah, just don't be a man.
Is a really quick side story with the conversation that we had when I had a date with my wife back in the days in 2016. We've been married for 9 years, but during our first date, I offered to pay because that's what I've always done. I opened doors, stuff like that, and I paid, right? One thing that she was like, that's really nice. She took it, accepted it, complimented me, be like, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I felt recognized and be like, oh, thank you. I'm really nice. I'm expected to do this. I'm just doing it because that's just me. But it's so nice to hear a compliment that I want to do it again. And the second day, she's like, hey, what if, because I really like you and everything, what if I, help you with half, or can I, help you with one date? Maybe the next day I pay it, and the next you pay it. And I'm like, huh, wow, okay, now that's kind of cool. I took it. I said like, no, I got it. But she's like, no, I really want to help. But that's because she knew, like, first of all, I was dirt poor, and she did not care about that. She just genuinely wanted to help. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, cool. And it was a very good feeling. It wasn't a competition, but I could sense that she wanted to have like a collaboration. Like it was a more collaborational, more like a team.
Right.
Like, holy crap, I'm more attracted to you now. That just happened. It just reminded me of that experience.
Wow. Yeah. I remember the time I was in front of the Pie in Salt Lake City, and I opened up the door for a group date. We were with like 5 or 6 other people.
That's an expensive date right there, my man.
Oh, yeah. So I opened up the door for 5 or 6 people, and we'd gotten out of my Chevy Tahoe. We were going inside. And then there was another sedan that had pulled up next to us, and all the college student age people had piled out and were going into the Pie as well. And so I decided, I'll hold the door open for them. I will never forget the girl with like the short bob hair, and she had these patent leather shoes. She walks up. I'd let everybody in. I was holding the door, and I continued holding the door for them. She snaps her heels together, and she says, "You shut that door right now." And I was like, whoa. And she's like, "You don't think I can hold it open because I'm a woman?" And I was just like, whoa. Okay, never again. And you know why? Because that had just happened to me 2 weeks earlier at Hard Rock Cafe in Universal City Walk. At Hard Rock Cafe, I'd open it up for a group date I was with. Some other people came in there, and another girl just stops right there and says, "Shut the door now. You think I can't because I'm a woman?" And she made such a scream that like my friends inside were like, "What did you do to that girl? Like, what the heck?" And I was like, I was holding the door open, and she just made a feminist rant on me. And so it happened at it's either Planet Hollywood or Hard Rock at Universal City Walk at Universal Studios, next to Howl at the Moon, and which is a piano bar. And then it happened, no joke, like 2 or 3 weeks later at the Pie in Salt Lake City. So at that moment, I stopped opening doors for women. Just for
Look at
the
that.
rest
You are
of my
traumatized.
life. Well, no,
the feminist got you.
Well, it's like, what am I supposed to do? You risk a woman screaming at you as though you're raping her for opening a door? Like, what the heck? And so my mom would be like,
And that's pretty wild. When was that? Like 1942 or however old you are?
No, 2010-ish.
Okay, all right.
You know, like,
wow.
Just this is what has happened, and this is the world the young men are growing up in, and it's just like, are you kidding me? So, I mean, we can victim blame and get angry, but yeah. Anyway, did we finish this girl's video, or is there still more left on the second pass? I think it's done, right?
I think we got it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, so this girl's lovely. She's plenty attractive. She's going to find a guy. She's plenty intelligent. She's going to find a guy, and he's going to be a great guy. Don't give up. Don't despair. None of that. But like, I really think the women of the church need to reconsider their devotion to Baal, the Baal of feminism, versus like, it's costing us, man. It's really costing us in measurable quantifiers, one of them being family formation, second being birth rate. So do we want to go over a couple of our favorite comments before we jam, or what do we want to do here?
There's so many good ones.
Why don't you give us the top 3, Sam? Give us the top 3, Sam, and let's read them.
What flavor do you actually want? Funny? Because
funny first.
There's a lot of
dealer's choice. Yeah.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah, funny, touching, then dealer's choice. Let's do those first 3.
Okay. Well, I might have a different sense of humor than you both.
Okay.
But I did like the one where, this guy Kev Curran. I don't know if you want me to call out their like handles or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
He's like, correct. And this is from the one that you actually mentioned, the Peter Parker one.
Okay.
It's like every chick wants a man to look and act like Superman, but refuses to be someone who looks and acts like Superwoman.
Oh, brutal.
Which
profound.
I think is
Confucius
funny,
say.
Yeah, Confucius.
Look at that.
There is a gentleman in her comment section that has a pretty yoked out. His handle is actually Noah, the last natty, which I can appreciate. And he's like, "Where are all the LDS gym girls?" Which is pretty based.
Oh, dude, hard.
Yeah,
That is pretty based.
I have to say he's probably not natty. Just going based off his profile picture.
Really, just based off of the handle?
Yeah, those delts look
Like he's trying too hard.
Out.
Okay, all right, I see it.
Okay, I'm looking for him. I can't find him. We keep going. Okay.
But yeah, then it's sadly enough, like if you want to get to the more serious ones, there's a lot of like older women that are commenting that they have like a couple of sons that are in this same type of dating scene and are just being annihilated by these women. Like
yeah, here's Mary Lee NP. Look at this. She's like, and she's a nurse practitioner. She says, mom of 3 handsome return missionaries. They're 21, 23, and 27. Oldest is in med school, second in pre-med, third majoring in English, headed for his PhD so he can be a professor and author. They ask about nice young women, and 90% of the time they get turned down for a first date. It's mind-boggling. Geez, I mean, the first 2 comments I saw up here when I just opened it up were literally, let me undo the replies from Homeboy. Here's Barbie Lynn, another woman.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, she says, I have 3 single sons. Their experience is that most LDS women are clout chasing and judgmental and looking for money. Also, less and less women want families and don't see it as their role to raise children, just reporting on what all 3 of my sons are telling me. And then G. Maglioli says, seeing my almost 30-year-old brother, who is amazing, be on the LDS dating scene has made me feel angry about stuff like this. You know how many single LDS girls turn him down for even a date that I tried to set him up on? Like, he is the kindest, most devoted pro-woman man. He helped raise my kids who adore him. He is educated. He serves. He cooks. He cleans. He's amazing. I'm a, quote, feminist, and I love the girls, but stuff like this is always showing up, and it's so annoying because it goes both freaking ways. He meets girls, they ghost. They only talk about themselves. They ask no questions in return, no personality, or they won't even give him a chance. Even girls I see liking this post I have tried to set him up with, and they decline. It's almost like not just men who are the problem. Brutal.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Are we saying here that it takes 2 to tango?
So I'm just curious. Like, I really do feel like through time immemorial, there's been conflict between the genders. And men have had their problems. Women have had their problems. But I do really feel post-war feminism, there has been an imbalance in the force in which it's not just men not being able to take a dose of humble pie. It's that humble pie is outlawed amongst women, but it's forced down the throats of men.
Yeah, I agree. You did an episode with like the younger generation on this exact thing. And that's what I gathered from it. It's like there's unbalanced in the dating scene. Now, once again, like this is Idaho. Like I think she's from Idaho. I think she's living in Idaho. Like come out to the East Coast where like there might be 2, 3 sisters in a YSA branch, right? With a bunch of brothers. Like this might just be a uniquely Idaho or uniquely Utah problem, and perhaps doesn't translate across the rest of the country. And so perhaps you just need to step outside of like the Utah bubble or like
the
Bible Belt. Yeah.
Are you sure the problem is not pornography? Because that _1_Exmo says, well, that's because Mormon men watch a lot of porn, so they only want women who are loving, godly women who also look like porn stars. To which Jimmy Pineview says, LMFAO, pretty sure men were picky about looks well before magazines and the internet.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
That's funny. So is it your raging porn addiction that led you to choose your wife, Sam?
No, absolutely not. And it actually was, I mean, so really quickly, me and my wife were both working at the same time. We're both in the military. She was very successful in the military.
And you were unsuccessful?
I was a little bit mediocre below, you know, I was relatively successful, but she's intelligent. She's kind. So yeah, I mean, but she's also very attractive. I'm just going to say she's also very attractive. That's why I married her. Right.
Yeah.
So
boom, there it is.
Okay.
It is what it is. We synced, but
okay.
No, it's not because of porn.
Well, with that jawline, you're turning me on. I can see why, it's working for her, dude. No.
Chiseled.
I wish we could have got a side view of King Mosiah. That man.
Oh, he's got a good jawline.
Received many compliments.
Yeah,
you could open beer bottles with that jawline. Yeah,
that's funny. That's funny. Okay, so what do we do? Is there anything we can do, guys? I mean, you guys are the kings of doing to help out men, and in this case, I appreciate this girl. Again, I want to reiterate, we're not trying to flame her. We're not trying to kill the messenger. We're just trying to comment on the state of LDS dating and, in my opinion, how it's been negatively affected by feminism, making it disproportionately disadvantaged towards men, even though the complaint in this video is that it's disproportionately disadvantaged towards women, right? So we're not trying to flame her. This Felicia girl, she probably seems super nice and amazing, and she's lovely and she's attractive, and I'm sure she will do well. But the state of dating in general isn't doing well. Is there anything we can do as viewers of this program, as members of the church, to help stem that tide, to be the salt that giveth the plate its savor in dating, to help improve the lives of our single brothers and sisters, to help find their prospective eternal companions? What do you think?
Yeah. So what I would recommend is I would just love to see the dating apps destroyed. I don't know. Like maybe I'm just getting too old these days, but it's like, hey, let's get the apps and the internet away from the dating scene. If people are going online and blasting out messages like this, what fills my heart with joy is just seeing so many people saying, whoa, just checking her in the comments saying, let's take a step back here because men's mental health isn't necessarily doing that great, right? I would say the other thing that we could do is maybe start, these are things that I think elders quorums, especially young single adult elders quorums, could be talking about. They could be forming brotherhood in those quorums. They could be talking about these things in those quorums instead of just doing the whole, let's just read another paragraph shtick. Who's got the paragraph? You got the paragraph? Great. Everyone's just checked out, checking something on their phone. It's like, hey, maybe start talking about these kinds of things. Like talk about the dating scene, talk about why it's hard, talk about the struggles, and find some comrades in the trenches with you. I think that could be super helpful.
Yeah. So we're going to read the last couple of super chats here, and then we're going to jam. Before we jam, we just got to remind you guys that this episode is brought to you by Angel Studios. They've actually been a super generous sponsor with us recently, especially their guild. Let me put this on the screen so you guys know what I'm actually talking about. The guild has actually given us some free tickets to give away to some BYU influencers recently, and they also help us by giving us some preview content to a lot of things they have coming out. Did you guys see David? Didn't you guys take your kids to see David, their recent release in theaters? Did you guys see that? There's something in there that I thought was super interesting that had to do with LDS theology. Did you notice the temple ceremony in it?
Oh wow. Yeah. I didn't see it in theaters, but sounds pretty
cool.
Cool.
Have any of you guys seen it yet or no?
No, not yet. No.
Oh,
are we talking House of David or David?
No, David. They got this animated show called David, and it's great. It's cute.
Okay.
It's amazing. Kind of Pixar-y 2D animation. Very spot on. It tells the story of David in a very scripturally accurate way, with doing like the cutesy dootsy stuff so the kids would actually be enjoyed. I wish they would have had this stuff when I was a kid, right? But what I found was so interesting is, oftentimes Protestants jam on those esoteric Mormons for their temple and their ceremonies, but they just busted out a straight up anointing ceremony on King David with like sacred oil and everything like that. I was like, dude, that's
super cool.
Yeah, I was like, don't study this too hard. Like they're bragging that it was like all historically and scripturally accurate. And it's like, you're saying washings and anointings are necessary to become, dare I say, kings and priests?
Hey,
and,
that's awesome.
And so it was so interesting to watch that because I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like temple prep? Meanwhile, it just completely goes over. Like everybody is all about historical and archaeological accuracy in the house of God until all of a sudden it makes it look like an esoteric temple ceremony, right? So I thought that was so interesting. We're going to do a reaction on that. And it's hilarious. That's cool. That was actually brought to us by our sponsor. I'm also actually trying to get the Mosaic Church guys to come in. They found the oldest mosaic.
Oh, that's super cool.
That talks about Christianity in there. Yeah. So this episode is brought to you guys by Angel Studios, and we thank them for their generous support of this program. If you guys want more information on Angel Studios, please check them out at angel.com. So last three super chats.
Speaking of David, I think he's the kind of guy that could actually fix the problem that this gal is talking about, right?
Okay,
Where
how
she's like,
so?
there are too many unmarried sisters here. It's like, David could help out with that, right?
Oh, she's brutal.
Hey.
I like the joke. So anyway, Pauline
There we
Nike
go.
says, question, Cardin, what's the first generation to have birth control and feminism as primary ideological drivers of society and its cultural functions? Pauline Nike's trying to get me to say the boomers, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
And you're a better man for it. Look at that.
Fog Defense says, Cardin, this rabbi kills it. And he puts a link in.
How long do you date before you get married? If you're dating for marriage, which is the only excuse for dating, you should be able to decide yes or no, do I marry this person or not, after 3 months. Maybe less. Marrying someone is such a specific, such a real, defined decision that it shouldn't be hard to decide, is this person going to be my wife? It should be pretty clear after a few hours of conversation.
Wow. Okay, so you're right.
Look at that.
This is kind of a long one. I'll keep that one up in the chat, but I mean, I'm like what I'm hearing so far. And let me tell you, old rabbis with beards that long, they do not hold back. You know, there's three people you can always trust to tell the truth. Young men, or just teenage, just young kids, young boys and girls, they'll tell you if something's cool. And let me tell you, if the 10 to 14-year-olds in your ward watch one of your podcasts and they say, yeah, that was cool, then it's like, dang, that's cool. You can take that to the bank, right? And then old men, we're talking, they came back from Vietnam, they got a limp, they don't give a crap anymore. They are the guys that wear
They've seen things.
They've seen things, and they wear the Speedo to the public pool, and they don't give a crap, right?
Yeah.
Those guys, they'll tell you. My grandpa was that way. He was like, Cardin, none of my other grandkids can do this, but you're doing it because you got guts, kid. And I was like, it was one of the best convos I ever got in my life, because I'm like, my grandpa has seen things. He knows where the bodies are buried. He won't lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's basically Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino. Yeah.
That was my grandpa. I'm not kidding you. So old men, very young children, and old rabbis. If your beard is down to your chest and you're a rabbi, then you can call it how you see it. You don't care. You don't care. So thank you very much, Fog Defense. Kaori says, every door you open for a woman is another door you close on a woman's equality. There's people that believe that. Gwark says, much of this can be solved by getting married while in school. Get it done early, build your lives together. There's a lot of wisdom in getting married young nowadays, and I think people are starting to realize that. Chris Breezy says, best help. We need to have these convos in person. I'm 100% with you, Chris Breezy. Thank you so much for the super chat. I agree with you. And Eagle Scout Warlord, last super chat of the day, says, I've seen in elders quorum EQP meetings where the elders quorum needs to focus on male competency. I always get hit with, but the handbook says, as if we don't want to fix problems. What do you say to that?
Well, it's interesting because the handbook also says that you should spend the first 10 minutes of your quorum to discuss the needs of your quorum. So your meeting should be discussing the needs of your quorum. So if you feel like there's a need and your presidency prays about that, they're like, yeah, let's talk about this. Then you should be talking about that. And there are a lot of guys out there that will figure out what those needs are via anonymous Google forums. They just ask, they send it out every single week. They ask the men in the quorum, hey, what's on your heart and mind this week? The men will send in their questions, and then they spend the first 10 minutes of their quorum answering those questions. And they pull from all the experience levels in that class, leads to some really cool things. That's what I would say.
Dude, that is so freaking awesome. So anyway, before we go, where can people find you, my man? Where can people find you?
So they can find me online at Salty Saints. We're mainly on YouTube. We do some stuff on Instagram as well under Salty Saints, the Salty Saints over there. We are also on dadsneedfriends.com. So that's a Discord that we run. If you are in a dead elders quorum, we are trying to simulate like virtual Elders Quorum with dadsandfriends.com.
So the
over
entire
there-
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in North America is now eligible for this gaming growth and brotherhood that's on their screens?
We are international. We've got guys in Australia that have joined us. So we're
Really?
gaming a few times a week. Yeah, come game with us. We have fireside chats where we just talk about life. We share memes. We share laughs. We are actually just about to host a big virtual race. We're trying to get everyone's costs covered for it. So if you're interested in something like that, sign up. But we are all going to, as a group, walk the distance of the Shire to Mordor. And so there's a company we're going through for that. Challenge races, Conqueror Challenges is what it's called. And so they give out a medal at the end of it. They track the whole thing. We're going to do it as a group. It's going to be fun.
Dude, Dads Needs Friends. And I love your cowboy logo, bro. That's actually super sick. I've never seen this before. This is rad. And
it's
Sam,
interfaith as well. We've got a few guys in there that aren't members of the church, and they actually have some really great discussions with us, which is awesome.
Okay, cool. And then Sam, where can people find you, bro?
You can usually just find me on Salty Saints. That's usually where I am nowadays. But I do have a channel at Through the Mist 1830. But
Okay, sick. Awesome. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. All right, sick. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been real. And you guys stay on the line before we jam after my outro. But it's been real and it's been fun and it's been real fun for this and more. Please make sure that you guys check us out at wardradio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement.